shows that Nishiki had an older sister who got found out after she got into a relationship with a human. So Nishiki vouched to never trust anyone, or so he thought. After joining university, Nishiki meets a random girl who forgot to take her change from the vending machine. They spend more time together and their bond grows as well until one day a certain somebody tore an extra large hole in Nishiki's stomach, and the wound wouldn't heal because he's malnourished, and by chance his girlfriend happened to walk into the room and discovers that he's a ghoul. But surprisingly, she allows him to take a bite of her shoulder and reveals that on the first day they met, she lost her entire family in a car accident, and Nishiki is her only person that gave her the will to live. Back to the fight, Toka is struggling against Fruity Guy because she's malnourished as well, so she takes a bite of Kaneki to fuel her Kagune. Toka takes Fruity Guy head on, easily overpowering him and slashing him to pieces. After taking him out, she moves to dispatch Nishiki's girlfriend because she's a potential hazard to them, but Kaneki and Nishiki try to convince her otherwise with no success, until Kimi saw her with her Kagune and calls her beautiful. That made Toka run off, ashamed of herself. The next day, we see that Nishiki started working in the coffee shop for the sake of protecting Kimi, and Hanami is acting out because she wants to see her dad. Some plot, her dad is a ghoul doctor, who in the past was involved with Jason's organization, but as Hanami was born, he quit the organization until recently when Jason showed up at his doorstep demanding he makes him a new clipping tool, the one that Rize stole. And that's why Hanami and her mom live in the coffee shop now, but unfortunately her father was killed by the CCG. Back to Hanami, her mom takes her out to cheer her up, but while they were out, Hanami catches her father's scent and follows it, eventually ending up in front of Kotaro and Mato. Some more plot. Here the CCG take the Kagune off dead ghouls and make them into deployable weapons that they call Queen Case. That's why little Hanami was able to smell her own father. After being cornered by the CCG, Ryoku chose to sacrifice her life to give her daughter a chance to run. And while Hanami was running away, Kaneki happens to see her. She tells him about the situation. They both run into the scene, arriving just in time to see Mato dealing the finishing blow to Ryoku. Enraged by this, Toka takes it upon herself to take revenge on behalf of Hanami, taking out one of the CCG members and engaging in a fight with Kotaro and Mato. But Mato proves to be quite adept at fighting with ghouls, as he easily outsmarts her, injuring her in the process and forcing her to retreat. Back at the coffee shop, the manager confronts Toka about her bold moves, reminding her that she's putting everyone here in danger. But she quickly runs away and Kaneki follows her, proclaiming his desire to fight alongside her, but under one condition: to not kill anyone. On that same night, Hinami catches the scent of her mother and immediately follows her. Toka saw her escape, so she and Kaneki follow her, leading them to a sewer tunnel. Immediately after, a defining scream catches not only the attention of Toka and Ken, but Mato and Kotaro. Turns out it was all a trap set by Mato, and the cause of that scream is Hinami finding her mother or what's left of her. After hearing the scream, Toka immediately rushes to Hinami, and the two of them share a hug, but they are interrupted by Mato's arrival, who immediately attack Toka using Hinami's father and mother's Kagune. This caused Toma to go quite mad, and a brutal fight broke out. Jumping back to Kaneki, who is trying to stop Kotaro from reaching Toka and Hinami, he tries to block his way, but each time he gets struck down only for him to get back up and try again, until he gets badly wounded and has to resort to his Kagune. So Kaneki leaps forward and takes a bite off Kotaro, which ignites his Kagune, allowing him to easily overpower his opponent and breaking his Queen Case in the process. Feeling that he's starting to lose grip on his hunger, Kaneki tells Kotaro to make a run for it. Initially, Kotaro refuses, until Kaneki delivers a pretty strong attack, forcing him to retreat. Back to Toka, who's struggling to fight against Mato until she gets herself in a really tricky situation. Mato takes this opportunity to try to capture Hinami as well, but in a split second, Hinami activates her Kagune and rips off his arm, revealing that her Kagune is a beautiful mix of her parents. Anyway, she quickly incapacitates him. Toka tells her to deal the finishing blow, but she can't bring herself to do that. Taking advantage of this situation, Mato tries to fight back, but is quickly struck down by Toka moments later. Disgusted about Mato wearing gloves, so she takes them off and reveals an engagement ring under. Toka is quite shocked about the discovery, and she quickly starts to feel guilty. Back to Kaneki, who lost control as he attacks a watching Rain, but quickly regains his composure after Rain calms him down, and gives him some food to quell his hunger. Eventually, the whole squad meets up and goes home, leaving Detective Kotaro to discover his partner's lifeless body. Amon recalls his early days in the CCG, when he was partnered with the experienced Mato. Meanwhile, Toka looks after Hinami, who's still mourning the loss of her mother. Amon is relocated to the 11th Ward, where the CCG is having trouble facing off against dangerous ghouls who do not fear them. Following the next few weeks, trouble still continues to brew in the 11th Ward, reaching a climax when a group of ghouls named the Aogiri attack the main CCG branch in the 11th Ward, leaving no survivors and effectively taking control over the entire ward. Back at the coffee shop, a bunch of unnamed ghouls suddenly barge in, demanding to see Rize, claiming that they knew her and mistaking Kaneki for her boyfriend because of his scent, until they hear about her sudden death, which they're saddened about. Moments later, a blue-haired ghoul makes an entry through the glass window and greets his sister Toma. Right after Jason and his gang barge into the shop, claiming that they followed Toka's brother, Ayato. Jason moves closer to speak to Ayato, but accidentally catches the scent of Rize or Kaneki, so naturally he starts beating the life out of everyone in the cafe, and proceeds to beat Kaneki half to death just before everyone from his gang stops him and takes Kaneki with them. The cafe manager comes back to inform the rest of the group that Jason is a part of the Aogiri tree and that rescuing Kaneki would be difficult. They should just forget about it, as he will take care of it. Toma, along with Nishiki and Hinami, object to this, saying that Kaneki has helped out too much in the past, and it's their time to pay the favor back. Shortly after, the CCG begins its preparation and starts moving units into the 11th Ward, in hope for establishing control of it. Flashback shows how Jason came to be, as he was originally a normal ghoul who was captured by the CCG, and got experimented on by a crazy doctor. So to escape the agony, his mind created an alter ego, aka his Jason personality. Immediately after developing his alter ego, he managed to escape. And guess what? He's torturing Kaneki the exact same way he was treated in the CCG, as he's making him count back from 1,000 by 7 each time he cuts one of his fingers. The CCG forces storm the Aogiri tree hideout alongside this weird kid who is seriously overpowered. Meanwhile, the Anteiku group infiltrate the building to rescue Kaneki, but along the way, most of the group members get separated and run into some sort of trouble. Toka crosses paths with Kotaro, who is hell-bent on getting revenge for his partner. But fortunately, two S-rank ghouls named the Twin Bees intervene, allowing Toka to swiftly escape. Of course, those two ghouls got annihilated by Kotaro. Brain Swaggy Guy and Fruity Guy encounter yet another S-rank ghoul. A few minutes pass and the CCG seem to have gained the upper hand. But then the One-Eyed Owl, an undefeated real one-eyed ghoul and presumably the leader of the Aogiri group, immediately the head commander gives an order that only the senior members and agents who are willing to die fighting the beast. Back to Kaneki, who is greeted yet again by the ghoul, or spirit of Rize, that as she ever so slightly pushes Kaneki closer to the edge, reminding him of his mom, who always pushed onto him her ideology of it's better to get hurt than to hurt other people. As a result of this, she worked herself to death for the sake of supporting her kid and her deadbeat sister. As more and more flowers turn red, signaling a near transformation, Rize keeps pushing Kaneki, reminding him of every little instance he was too weak to do anything, until Jason comes back into the room, snapping Kaneki back to reality. As a test of his mental fortitude, he presents him with a moral dilemma. The couple tried to help Kaneki earlier, and he has to choose which one of them will die. And as Kaneki refuses to pick one, Jason kills them both, plugging him back to his half-dream state. And as Rize continues to push Kaneki to the edge, he snaps, releasing all of his frustration and anger and proclaiming that he will spare no mercy for anyone who tries to harm his loved ones ever again, even if it means killing them. Rize is ecstatic to hear this, but she quickly asks him whether he'll accept her or not, but Kaneki simply tells her that he will surpass her. And as she continues to question his decision, he tells her that the fault doesn't lay in him, but in the world they live in. And as he devours her, the white flower field around them starts transforming into red spider lilies, which in Japanese culture mean death and rebirth, signaling that his transformation is complete. Back to reality, Jason comes to the room yet again to torture him, but this time taking another approach, as he tells him Aogiri will kill everyone in her path, including ghouls that oppose them. Hearing this, Kaneki finds the power to break out his chains and starts strangling Jason. As Jason pushes him off, he takes a bite off him, commenting that he tastes disgusting. Kaneki quickly dodging his attack and countering with a powerful kick at the cost of his leg. As a result of this, Jason goes mad, proclaiming that he will kill him no matter what as he rushed in for an attack. Kaneki dodges almost all of them, until he gets caught by one of them and sent flying to the wall, but Kaneki just brushes it off and activates his Kagane. As the two of them clash, Kaneki clearly has the upper hand, eventually ripping off Jason's hand and delivering a powerful